Your brain is constructing a representation of your body in the world in a given moment. This representation is your experience. Often it is an experience of emotion. This perspective, I realize, is new to many of you. We're using the word theory in a very specific scientific way. In science, a theory is a set of ideas, hypotheses that are backed up by a tremendous amount of scientific evidence. You will learn how the brain works. You will learn how this information empowers you to be able to better control your own emotions and improve your emotional intelligence. Understanding how your brain works actually can benefit you in many domains of your life. Why the theory of constructed emotion is so counterintuitive.
I have PTSD from serving my country. All I want to do is go back to Iraq to feel normal again.
I have PTSD from sexual assault trauma, and I'm worried that because of it, I won't ever be able to have a normal relationship.
I have PTSD and have nightmares every night, so I avoid sleeping as much as possible.
Today I was diagnosed with PTSD. Now I'm feeling more anxious and depressed about it. I'm not looking forward to the stigma that comes along with it.
I live with PTSD from Iraq every day. Nobody knows, they just think I'm antisocial, boring, and a bit strange.
I can't keep a relationship going because of my PTSD. There's gotta be a girl out there who's willing to look past it for me.
I have PTSD, and when people find out, they ask where I served. When I tell them I wasn't in the military, they dismiss it like I'm lying.
I have severe PTSD, but I'm afraid to get the diagnosis. I don't want a label, a handout, or sympathy. I just want help.
I secretly live with post-traumatic stress disorder. I try to act carefree, but I live on alert.
I hate it when my PTSD acts up, and I'm suddenly afraid of everyone.
My trust issues make everything so hard, and I wish I could just forget my past. But my PTSD makes it impossible.
My ex left me because I have PTSD and wouldn't open up about my deployment.
My PTSD makes me feel alone and unwanted, which makes me angry at people.
PTSD has made me a prisoner in my own mind.
I thought my PTSD was getting better, but then the flashback started up again. I'm exhausted.
I have PTSD. My service dog saved my life. He gives me unconditional love and a reason to live.
To illuminate all sorts of issues where emotions are important, like in the relationship between physical health and mental health, in the law, in communicating across cultures, rearing your children, how this new science of emotion fundamentally changes our understanding of human nature, of what it means to be human. Your brain is using your past experience to predict and construct what you're about to feel, immediate future. If you invest a little bit of effort to cultivate new experiences in the present, that seeds your brain to more automatically make different emotions in the future. So that's one way. So for example, learning new emotion words, learning emotion concepts from other cultures, broaden the repertoire or vocabulary of emotions that your brain can make. And if you practice, you can make them very automatically with very little effort. Kids have more control. The culture of casual brutality, it doesn't just improve social functioning and their ability to communicate with each other, it actually improves their test scores. Learning words and learning concepts, actually, those parts of the brain actually regulate your body directly. Concepts and words, emotion words, or mental state words are actually like tools that your brain uses to actually literally control the physical systems of your body. Kids have more control over their experience and over their behavior. Very bad for their mental health, it's very bad for their health, and it's very bad for their nervous systems in general.
A lot of the time you think of emotions as sort of the innate and uncontrollable.
Kids talk to the way they talk to each other, the way they treat each other.
Actions that just happen. In theory, have the capability to recognize that prediction before you act, being able to change your emotions, kind of liberating these new learning experiences, kind of liberating the sensations around you in order to sort of change what you're simulating, I guess.
What you're describing is exactly one really important piece of this. So your brain is automatically constructing simulations as predictions of what's going to happen next. So it's using the present sensory array right now, like the sights and sounds and smells and feelings from your body in the present moment, the evidence from the next moment, to either confirm those predictions and they become your experience, or to modify them. To be mindful of more details in the present moment. That actually gives your brain more freedom to simulate new and different things. The culture of casual brutality, and it's very bad for their health. It's very bad. There's a very cool thing that our brains don't just search for a match in our prior experience and then retrieve a memory, kind of like a file. Our brains can take bits and pieces of past experience and use them, and assemble them in a brand new way to make simulations and therefore predictions. So that's terrific imaginations. That's how we daydream. Can make them very automatically with very little effort. We can make emotions sometimes we don't even have words for.
To reality. Since I believe no one should be able to redo what they did to me.
One simulation on the fly using bits and pieces of past experience. So for example, before we had the German word Schadenfreude, which means pleasure at someone else's discomfort, we could make that emotion and we could perceive that emotion in others. It was effortful to do it because our brains had to combine bits and pieces of past experience in a new way.
Daily deposit into your self-worth. And I take more. That's what I was born for. A life wanting more. And now I got it. If I can hold on to it, you won't believe. Who would know these little tricks? It's impossible since everyone's trauma is different. This is the reason why the revolution cannot be televised. I finally got it on the third try. Now I'll say what I've been trying to say one last time.
Bits and pieces of past experience in a new way. That's called generativity. I think one of the major barriers to innovation. How do you learn? You have to work hard, and working hard can sometimes be unpleasant in the moment. Yes. But if you're already walking around burdened by social uncertainty, where people are evaluating you, speaking to you in a way that is very, very unpleasant. I'm not talking about bullshit liberal, political correctness here. I'm talking about culture of casual brutality. It's mirrored on television, right? People bully each other relationally, bully each other to a laugh track. That's something that can be changed so easily. Yes. With a little bit of education and teaching of emotion vocabulary. Things could change quite a bit for kids in our schools, but people have to understand that the mind and the body really are connected in a really fundamentally real way. If we have predicting brains and we do influence each other's nervous systems because we're like social animals, then our responsibility isn't only to ourselves, right? And to control our own emotions, and we need to think about that. Control our own emotions, and we need to think about that. And if I wanted to explain to you feeling pleasure at someone else's misfortune, it would take me a bunch of words to not only explain to you the experience, but to also explain to you the context in which I was experiencing this emotion so that you didn't think I was a horrible person.
My trigger people didn't care if I lived or died. My PTSD will not win because I disagree with what they did to me, and I'm gonna talk about it.